talk about turns, open turns and flip turns. So open turns are the ones that aren't flip turns. Breast to breast, fly to fly, that kind of thing. Flip turns, of course, back to back, free to free. With open turns, the key thing to remember is knee speed equals turn speed. A really great turn should take about 1.0 to 1.2 seconds. So from the time your fingers touch to the time your toes leave the wall, about a second. I work with people who have turn speeds up to like 1.7, 1.8. Those are the kinds of turns where it looks like they're having a conversation every time they go through it. And it's like, hey, I'm doing great. I'll be back in a minute. Bye. That kind of thing. And so it's also one of the areas that people give up the most amount of time. It's one of the biggest weaknesses that you see in races. And there are a few reasons why. But before we get into those, let's take a look and talk a little bit more about what makes a good turn. As you're coming into the wall, your first thought needs to be, after touching with two hands, get the knees in fast, get tight. A tight ball is a fast turn. Now, back in the day when I was just a wee lad, we were taught that you go straight in and straight out. There's two problems with that. One, if you're going straight back, you're taking the broadest part of your body and plowing it through the water. The second problem with that is that when you end up dropping down, you're pushing off kind of on your side and then rotating to your stomach. And if you've ever noticed, it's really interesting in practice, if you do 25s, let's say, for time, the fastest ones are going to be where you are squared up facing down the pool before you drop. And that's because you're lined up with your feet shoulder width apart for the most power getting off the wall. Versus, say, like a side push where you're looking at the pace clock and going this way, or just a dropping back kind of push. And so what we've done over the years is we've evolved that straight in, straight out push to be a little bit more sideways. And so let's look at it again. As the knees are coming in, they're veering off to the side, okay? So that as you start dropping, you're more on your stomach when you push off. There are two big mistakes that people make when they do open turns. The first one is this. They come in and instead of leading with the knees, they skip ahead in their mind to the next steps of pushing off on their stomach. And so instead of leading with the knees, they lead with the hips. Just like with the back problem going straight back, you're broadsiding all that water with the side of your thighs, your legs, and plowing through the water. So it's going to slow you down. The second big problem is people who throw their head back. And what that does is it opens up your body on an open turn. Very misleading, I know. But we want to be closed up as much as possible, tight. And when you throw that head, you're opening up all this area from your chest down through your thighs. And that's all hitting water as you spin. So again, when you look at it, the knees have to be the driver and they veer off to the side to start the process of you getting back onto your stomach. Now, it's not just about the actual turn itself. Speed going into the wall impacts your speed coming off the wall. And so if you're slowing down into your turn and you execute a bad turn, that's going to slow you down even more than whatever your time from touch to push is. So take 4 seconds and add however much, we can't calculate it, but add however much impact there is to your speed coming off of every single wall, and you're just giving up so much time that you don't need to. Flip turns. Now, the way I love to describe flip turns is like a rope going in through a pulley and coming back out. And if you imagine your fingertips being the lead end of the rope and everything else flows down from there, and you're just one rope going in and out. You want that rope to not fray, okay, by doing things like lifting your head. You want it to all be connected. And so as you pull into your turn, the head needs to go with it. And if you do that, it's really neat. You feel like you are being sucked in much quicker to your turn. And there are two big problems that you usually see with these turns, with flip turns. The first one is people pull, there's a delay, and then they flip. And so you're killing your speed going into the wall, which means killing your speed going out. The second big problem is messing with the head position as you flip. One of the ways is lifting the head, so there's a little bit of a lift and then a drop. And then the second one, and it just drives me nuts. I don't know why anybody does this. And you see it even at high levels, is the breath and flip. Why? It's so unnecessary. And it just frays that rope, and so it kills your speed going in and out. Here are a couple things that you can do to work on your turns. The first one, let's talk about flip turns. It's a 3-flip drill, meaning you push off for your 25, and along the way, you do 3 flips down the pool. So like 4 strokes, flip, 4 strokes, flip, 4 strokes, flip, and then you swim into the wall and do another flip at the wall. This just allows you more opportunities to practice that head going with the arm into the flip and feeling yourself being pulled through that pulley. You can also do this with open turns. So, a couple strokes breaststroke or butterfly and then a turn. But I actually prefer to work on my turns in warm up and warm down by going into walls very carefully, very slowly, very controlled, so that I can track every step of that turn as I go through it. Another great way to work on your open turns is during kick sets, because unless you are flipping with the board, then you're doing an open turn every time you go into the wall. Pull the board behind you, reach in, grab the wall, and focus on leading with the knees. And you get a lot of opportunities, especially if your team does a lot of kicking, to work on your open turns. So I hope all this has helped you swim different, swim faster. Good luck.